I'm in Shenandoah National Park in the Southern District at Simmons Gap. This is about mile marker 73. And today I'm going to hike an old fire road that's looking to the west. And on that side of the mountain, on the west side of the mountain, the fire road is called Beldor Fire Road. Here's Skyline Drive. And over here on the east side, it's called Simmons Gap Fire Road. There is no parking area here, but there's a pull-off area here that's got space for cars to pull off. And so I'm just going to park there. And also right there is the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail, that's looking northbound, comes across here and it crosses on a diagonal, Skyline Drive, and then heads off into the woods right there. So that's the Appalachian Trail. So because both of these sections of the fire road are fairly short, I'm going to start out here. I'm going down the east side to the park boundary, and then I'll come back up to here, and then I'm going to cross over and I'm going to hike the west side down to the park boundary and back. So let's get started over here on the east side. So you come down the east side about a tenth of a mile. There's my car up there at the top. Come down here and then the road veers off to the left, and that will take you down to a ranger station here. But you just keep going straight. Here's the beginnings of the abandoned part of the fire road. I think it's about a mile down there to the park boundary. So let's get started. I wore long pants today because I was expecting some tall grass, and I see some there. Hopefully this isn't going to be too muddy. Anyway, let's get started and see what happens. Seven-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm down to 2,070 feet elevation. There's where I came from, down the fire road, and I just stopped here because there's a bridge that goes across this little creek here. It's the headwaters of some stream, but I'll have to look it up when I get home. I don't have enough of a map to tell you what it is. Plenty of water here though. And here's what the bridge looks like. So nice sturdy bridge. And I am going to continue down the east side this way until I get to the park boundary, which should be fairly shortly. Nine-tenths of a mile. I'm down to 2,000 feet elevation, and there's the park boundary right there. The chain across the road, and if you let me turn around and I'll show you. There's what it looks like inside the park, and here's what it looks like outside the park. So it looks like you can come up here if you want, and I suppose you could park your car right there and hike here. Now from here up to Skyline Drive, it's only about a mile. And to tell you the truth, there isn't a whole lot to see up there at Simmons Gap except for the ranger station. So I can see why a lot of people don't bother to hike this section. I didn't actually see red boundary markers, so I may go, I think I see some red down there, so I may walk down there and just to check that out. But this is obviously the park boundary right here. So I'm going to turn around and head back up to Skyline Drive. .8 miles into my hike. I just came back up to Skyline Drive. That's where I came from, over there on the east side. Here comes some motorcycles. The elevation here is 2260, and now I'm going to hike down this side, down the west side. And we'll see what this looks like. This is called, this side of it's called Beldor Fire Road. It goes down into Beldor Hollow. And hey, look down there off to the left. There might be a parking little space over there. I'll check that out on the way down. Yeah, okay, great. So there's Skyline Drive up there. You come down the west side of the mountain, and look at this right here. Nice little parking spot. But I'm not going to bother to move my car at this point. I'm just going to leave it where it is. But wow, you could get a half a dozen cars in there. And then I'm going to continue on down the west side of the mountain, down this way, which is called Beldor Fire Road. Okay, just a little bit past the little parking area is this the chain across the road. I don't know, this side looks like it's being more heavily utilized, maybe by the Park Service. And right there's one of the markers, concrete markers, signpost, and the band at the top is telling me it's 1.2 miles down to the park boundary. So here we go down the west side of the mountain. .4 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2,060 feet elevation. There's where I came from. This side of the west side here is in a lot better condition. The road is, and as proof of that, look at that right there. That looks like a brand new or very new storm pipe that they put in across here to carry. There's a real steep section here where water comes down, and without the benefit of a pipe there, it would erode this road pretty badly. But it's got that new pipe. It's got fairly new gravel there, so yeah, I'd say they're maintaining the west side here. .4 miles into my hike. I'm down to 1,740 feet elevation, and here's the chain across the west side of the road. There's where I came from, and the west side is definitely, the road's in better shape, a lot better shape than on the east side. I'm going to go down here just a little bit further and see if I can detect any parking situation down this way. Yeah, so there's the chain up there, and then right down here is a gravel turnaround. I walked down just a little bit further. The road coming up here is a gravel road, but it looks like it's in good condition. So yeah, I mean, you could come up here and pull off over there, and people would still have space to turn around. And look at this. Look at that. We're going to have a council meeting here. Let's see, what time is it? It's 11:30. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have a council meeting right here. Okay? Don't be late. In the meantime, though, I'm going to turn around and start climbing the mountain back up to my car, which is back up at Simmons Gap. .9 miles into my hike. I'm up to 2220 elevation, and up there Skyline Drive. I'm almost back to where my car is parked, just on the other side of the of Skyline Drive there. But I stopped here because I look over there on that big boulder. There's a survey benchmark, so I can't pass that up. I'll get a photograph of it for you. This is Beldor Hollow Overlook. And that's looking down the west side of the mountain. That's where I just came from, hiking the west side of the Fire Road. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Swift Run Gap 1997. That covers the map from here over to here, and then from here further west is McGaheysville 1999. And today I hiked, actually the fire roads that I hiked today have a route number 628, but inside the park they go by, on the western side, Beldor Fire Road, and on the eastern side it's called Simmons Gap Rd. This is this red road here is Skyline Drive. You come in on US 33. I came in from Standardsville, Virginia on US 33. You come into the park at Swift Run Gap. That's mile marker 65. This is in the southern district of the park. So you head south on Skyline Drive from mile marker 65 on down, all the way down to mile marker 73, which is right here, and then just a little bit further gets you to right here, which is Simmons Gap. And then the roads that I hiked are this road here on the west side, which is called Beldor Fire Road, and then that same road on the other side, on the east side, is called Simmons Gap Rd, right here. Now, when I first got here to Simmons Gap, there's no apparent parking areas, so what I did was I pulled off here just a little bit over here onto the east side in just a little grassy pull-off area and parked my car there. It turns out if you cross over Skyline Drive over here onto the west side and go down just maybe 1/10 of a mile, there's a gravel parking lot right here on the west side. So if you decide to do this hike or hike anything in this area, just come to Simmons Gap, head over onto the west side of this old fire road and go down about 1/10 of a mile, and you'll see a parking area there. It's big enough for a half dozen cars. But anyway, I parked my car here, got out, and the first 1/10 of a mile of this down to the gate here is paved. There's a ranger station over here, but you just keep going straight. So all of a sudden, instead of being paved, it's more like grass. And you just head on down here. I think this was about 8-9 tenths of a mile down to the park boundary here. And then I turned around and came back up to my car. Now this stretch in through here, you definitely would want to wear long pants in the summertime. This part here is fairly well overgrown. Then I crossed over and hiked on the west side. Now this stretch of the road is in a lot better condition. There's a lot more gravel on it. There's not nearly as much grass, tall grass growing up. And looked to me like it's been maintained. There's one little piece of video, I think it's the stream right here on the map, where they put in it's a fairly recent installation of a drainage pipe, galvanized drainage pipe that I show in the video. So anyway, starting back up here at Skyline Drive, you hike on down, and there really isn't a whole lot to see in the summertime, just a nice hike. This is a fairly gentle slope, it's not real steep. Down to here, here's the gate, and this is the park boundary. Now, if you decide to come in from the west and come up Beldor Hollow on Route 628, this is a gravel road right here. It looks to me like you can come all the way up to the gate, and there's a gravel turnaround there. I showed in my video there's like 4 chairs somebody dropped off there. I guess they were using it as a dump site maybe. But there's plenty of room here if you come up on Route 628. If you come up Beldor Hollow, you can come up to here, park your car, and you could hike this from the bottom if you want to. But like I said, this is in a lot better shape. Didn't have any trouble at all. Now, when I got back up to close, well, just beyond where it says gate here, over here on this western side, I spied this big boulder, and I've done a lot of looking for Coast and Geodetic Survey benchmarks, and I looked over there and I recognized one of them, so I went over there and got a picture of it. I think it was from 1963, and it had the elevation stamped on it, so I'll include that photograph in my video. So this is one of those hikes that I've skipped over all these years because it was fairly short. I think counting both sides, it was right around 5 miles round trip. But, you know, it's, oh, the other thing I should point out is right in through here's the Appalachian Trail. So another thing you could do from Simmons Gap is you could pick up the Appalachian Trail here, and, you know, you could hike it either north or south for a ways and then come back. Or you can hike here and have somebody, you could hike it up to one of these other gaps here, like Powell Gap up here, and then have somebody pick you up here. So there's lots of possibilities. But anyway, I just decided to go ahead and hike that today. It's something that I had skipped over all these years, and I'm trying to hike everything in Shenandoah Park. So now I'm getting down to what I call the cats and dogs, the things I skipped over before because they just didn't look that interesting to me. But I enjoyed the hike, and it was good today because they're calling for thunderstorms this afternoon, and I was able to get this done before about 1 o'clock. So, and actually when I was coming down off the mountain, I drove through some fairly heavy thunderstorms. So this was a nice short hike that I was able to get in, and I think you'd probably enjoy it. And that's a hike for today.